You were born in Amsterdam, right?
I was born in the southern part of the Netherlands.
What town?
Hendrik Ido Ambacht.
Oh, that's a mouthful,
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I was born maybe a half hour out of Rotterdam.
Oh, okay.
It's a big harbor.
Yes, I've heard of it. I don't know exactly
That's
where
where
it's
we
at.
left from too when we came to the United States.
So you were born there and raised there as long as you lived there, huh?
I still live there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where you go when you visit?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was life like there before the war?
It was a peaceful life.
Yeah.
It was an, what can I say? It was a small place. It was kind of like Coopersville or so.
Oh, really small?
Yeah.
No
Oh,
kidding.
yeah. It was farmers. It was mostly farmers there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. That was very small. And there were no cars at that time.
Everybody
So
rode
did-
like horse and buggies, or
Or walking. I mean, we walked all over or on the bike.
no kidding. How old were you, like when you first heard that there was something going on over in Europe, like with the war and Hitler and all that stuff? You must have been really young.
I was a little over 5 years old. Well, I was 5 years old. When the war broke out, it started out in May, and I turned 6 in June.
Oh, you were very small, huh?
Yeah, but now my sister doesn't remember too much because she's a year and a half younger than
Uh-huh.
me.
Were you guys scared hearing about what was going on over in Germany and everything?
Well, see, I don't know that.
Okay.
Before the war. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, as a child, you don't know that,
Yeah.
you know, and if your parents knew, they tried to hide it from you.
Hmm.
But we were just sitting. My mother was teaching me how to dance sacks, you know, make
Oh, yeah,
fix
yeah,
all.
yeah.
And we were sitting outside, and all of a sudden, and my mother was there, my dad was there, and then Dini and I, and more. And all of a sudden, those big planes came over. You could hear them way far, but we didn't know what it was. And all of a sudden, those big planes came, and they went low. Yeah, they went really low, and everybody started running.
Really? Like you think they were gonna bomb you or something? Or
Well, we didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
these were German planes, right?
with German planes, yeah.
Did they have this like the swastikas on them? You could see that.
The big bombers, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, they were big. And they make a noise. You could hear them come. We didn't even think of it in the beginning. What it was. But after that, yeah. Oh, and then when you lay in bed at night, oh, you could hear that. And oh, you're scared to death.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
No, I always said, I hope my kids never, or grandkids, I hope they never have to go through war.
Gosh, I hope not. Yeah.
Because I think a lot about all those countries that are in war right now.
Yeah.
What a terrible life for the kids.
Yeah. Well, you can sympathize.
And
You've
it is
experienced
something
it.
you're never going to forget.
Yeah.
You're never going to forget.
What was it like the first time you saw a German, like when they came into your town?
They always came in a big group.
Uh-huh.
They always came in marching and singing.
Like the goose stepping that you see in the old footage? That must have been something else to see.
And then the voices, they can sing beautiful.
Can they? Or could they?
We
rather?
didn't know. We just went to the road and we went to watch them.
Uh-huh. Were they nice to you guys when they came in, or were they kind
Some of them.
Some of them. Some of them weren't, though.
And then when they were all in town, they needed a place to stay. So we were done with school right away because they took the schools over. Okay, maybe. Okay. Well, that was a lady, neighbor lady.
Neighbor lady,
Yeah.
did she have to bring you something?
No, I shortened some slacks for her grandson.
Oh, that's nice.
And then she picks them up, yeah. Yeah.
So you were saying some of the Nazis were nice to you guys, and they needed a place to stay.
Yeah, when they all marched in, you know, then the same day yet, The school was empty. We couldn't go to school anymore. And they took over big farms. Then the people just had to get off. And they have all their animals and everything there. And they took over that big farm and they put up big tents and all that, what was the kitchen and all that, where all the Germans that were in a little village,
Yeah.
they went there to eat. But they also put those big machines, how do you call them, that shoot out the bombs.
Oh, like the anti-aircraft weapons or artillery. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And my sister was living close by that farm. Oh, it was, if they started shooting when a plane came over, you were standing like this, and then they would say, "Don't, no, don't do that. That makes you deaf." But a noise. And then they went to every house in the village, and two of the big shots did that, you know. They came in your house and they had a look in the house and see how much room you had, how many soldiers you could take. Well, Dini and I, we had 2 bedrooms and we had like a big room. That where you walk in when you come on the steps, you know, you came in this big room and then there were 2 bedrooms. Well, Dini and I had to get out of our bedroom and the 2 German soldiers, we had to have 2. We had enough room for 2, they said, so they took our bedroom, and my brother his bedroom was on that big room there.
Yeah.
And we slept with my brother.
Really?
Yeah.
And you had always told me that, like, one of them was nice to you
Yeah.
guys, but
Yeah.
the other one was...
No, there was a blonde kid, and he had to go in the army, you know.
Yeah, he didn't want to be there.
No, he didn't want to go. He was such a good kid. And the other one was a tall guy, dark hair, but he was the meanest guy. But that blonde guy would sometimes bring German bread for us.
Oh, really?
And he would work in the kitchen, and then he would bring that German bread. Oh, and that is good bread, that German bread.
Really?
It's a little sour, you know.
Okay, yeah.
It's really good. But the other one, he was a pill. He was mean.
What did he do that was so mean about him?
Well, like you could not have the electricity on. Everything
really?
was dark. Most people had black paper in front of their windows because the light could not. It was completely dark, Troy, and nobody could come outside after 8 o'clock. And so anyway, one time it was in the morning, and my mother had to wake him every morning. Those 2 soldiers, and one morning she overslept.
Uh-oh.
And all of a sudden on our front door, a noise, didn't ring the bell, but on the door real loud, you know. And my mother jumped right away out of bed, and my dad after her. Oh, my mother went downstairs and opened the door, and they were mad at her, and then my dad said, we called them, you know, they're coming. Well, then that blonde guy, they dressed themselves in the bedroom. They didn't even wash their face or nothing.
Really?
And he ran down the stairs, and then the dark one. And the dark one, before he went outside, he turned around and he said to my mother, "When I leave, I'm gonna go do." Now we were scared of that from him.
Whoa.
And then they were leaving all of a sudden. Then you know, they had to leave because this was in the last couple of years of the war. And we were so afraid, you know. We stayed in the house when he left because you didn't know what he was going to do.
Yeah.
No, he was very mean. But the blonde guys told us so many times, is if I could crawl home on my knees, I would go tonight yet.
He didn't want to be there at all.
No, but everybody was not with Hitler.
No.
You
No,
know.
because they a lot of them were forced into it.
Well,
They
that is
drafted.
what this boy was, yeah.
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 How old was he, do you think?
Well, we really never knew.
No.
But he was in his early 20s.
Just a young guy, huh?
And if he was, maybe he was 20.
Wow. So, how long did the Germans stay with you before it was the Americans that liberated your town, right?
Oh, before no, they stayed, we had the Germans out to the end.
Oh, all the way to the end of the war? They held out
And
that
then,
area, huh?
Yeah, and pretty soon they didn't have food anymore.
Uh-huh.
And then they went all over, by every house, to see if they had animals. And if you had chicken, well, no matter what you had, they would take it. And my dad had bought a pig, and he had made a special place for that pig. Nobody ever knew that we had one.
Because if they did, they would have taken it, right? Yeah.
And then one day they were walking again on the street to see what they had, and my dad said, they are not going to get that pig. And they never got it, but he slaughtered it himself, my dad,
Yeah.
of Troy. There was not even a pork shop on it, it was such a small pig. But
Just
he
a
said,
little
they are not going to get it, he says.
So you guys had
Yeah.
pork for dinner, huh?
Yeah.
But that was really good, huh?
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, it was. Yeah, you never forget it. It's a very scary time. And then they came out in the war then, and I don't even know what year. See, I don't know that. I was too young. But the V1,
Uh-huh.
the V1, they call that
Those
the
are the-
V1. That is.
The rockets, yeah. That
And
was,
if
yeah.
they did that so far away, you'd think they did it next door by us.
That's amazing. Because
Yeah.
those were the precursors for the space shuttles. Like later on during the space race,
Oh,
the Americans after the war had taken a lot of the Germans' top scientists and stuff that had worked on the V1, and they took that knowledge and what they had learned with that and turned it into the space shuttle. So that would have been very loud to hear. I can only imagine.
that was it's squealy sound.
Man,
Yeah.
that must have been terrifying.
And then when the big airplanes came over, then the siren would go,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And what they had done, they built bunkers,
Yeah.
kind of under the ground, you know. And a lot of people went in that we never did. We always stayed in our house. But a lot of people went in those bunkers until the sirens stopped,
Yeah.
and then it was quiet for a while, and it could be hours. And then they would go again, and then they went out of the bunker.
I can't even imagine what that would have been like.
No, I know it is like now, like with those people in Afghanistan right now.
Yeah.
I just.
How often did the air raid sirens go off? Did that happen a lot, or was that
Yeah.
really? Was there ever a time when aircraft actually flew over or anything? Like, was there ever a battle in your town?
Not in the town,
Yeah.
but you have a big city, Dordrecht. And that is where a lot of stores are. That is the shopping, where you go shopping and all that. And you have to cross by ferry, or there was a bridge where you could go over.
Yeah.
But we always went with the ferry. But one time we were close by there on the bike, and the planes came over, and they tried to bomb that bridge.
Oh wow.
They never got it though. They never got it, but what was that scary?
That was the thing back in the day. Was during the war was blowing up bridges because it would
Yeah,
halt transport.
that's where the movie comes from, A Bridge Too Far.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
Not from the bridge by me.
No, but in
But-
general, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And one time they did shoot a plane down, and that fell not too far from my sister's house out in the field from the farmer, you know.
Yeah.
But that it's wet in the Netherlands, so that plane really goes in the ground quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't lay on top, you
Yeah.
know. And when the Dutch people, they run to that plane, and the pilot was in there yet.
Was he still alive?
He was still alive. And people helped them and took him out. But they found out, the Germans, and they went all through the whole town, if anybody knew about it, you know.
Yeah.
But they never got him. No.
Do you know whatever became of him? Like
No, that is it, you don't. You don't
Wow.
know that,
Yeah.
you know. But anyway, he made it, but then another plane fell, and they were all dead in there, you know. Yeah.
The first one was lucky to have survived, man.
Yeah.
I mean, a plane coming down, that's...
Yeah, and they're so big, they throw
Yeah.
it. And here the 6-year-old, and you see those,
It must have seemed unreal.
yeah, was not a fun time at all.
And to go from life before the war, peaceful and probably a very simple time, right?
Farmers town, yeah,
To just that.
yeah.
There's no comparison, huh?
No, there is no comparison.
So, what was Pop Ari doing? I mean, did you know Pop Ari during this time?
No.
No? How old, when did he come on your radar? When did you first meet
When he
him?
came on my radar, I met him, well, he used to play soccer with my brother.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he probably was 16 years old, 17 years old, when he played with my brother. And my brother was older, but Papa came into team one because he was such a good,
Good player.
yeah. So that's how I met him.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a crush on him when you first met him or anything?
He
Or?
was a sharp looking kid.
He was or wasn't? He was, yeah. I was going to say, looking at his pictures, he was always a good looking guy.
Yeah, he always was. Yeah, we started going together, on bike rides and not dating or anything, you know, just friends. But yeah. Then all of a sudden they talked about, his family talked about going to the United States. And he wanted to get engaged before they left.
Him and Uncle Pete came over first, right?
No,
No?
the whole family
The
came.
whole family, him and his parents and everything.
Yeah.
And
The family came in May of, let me think a minute, hoor. We got married in 51. The whole family came over in May of 52.
oh, you guys got married before they came over?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
No, because I remember this story. You had-
no, the family came over in 50.
Okay.
May, and they left May, what was it, May 5 or May 8 in 1950. Then Papa was here, they came in May, and then he got let me think a minute now. He got a message from the Netherlands that he had to come back because he had to go, no, that is wrong too. Yeah, that is right.
Because he had to go into, was it the army or the
He had to go in the army
Yes. And
So-
he actually, he went in, right? But he didn't,
for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
He went for 2 weeks, and they came back in November 4 in 51. Papa came back with Uncle Pete, and Uncle Pete came back to get married to Auntie Ree.
Yeah.
But Papa came back to go in the Dutch army for 2 years.
Yeah.
But the weather was terrible that November when they came back, and he was in the army 2 weeks in the Netherlands. And he came back, and I wrote that in the book too, and he came back and he says to me, Aletta, I am not going to go. I'm not going to stay in the army here. He says, I'm going to go back to the United States.
Uh-huh.
He said, I can't stand this weather anymore, and the bike and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I said, well, I'm not going to wait any longer. I mean, I was young, you know.
Uh-huh.
And he says, no, I'm going to talk to your mother and dad, and I'm going to see if we can get married.
Yep. I remember you telling me that around Christmas time.
So,
So he came and talked to your dad, and your dad said he needed a night or something to think about it. That must have been a hectic night, huh?
yeah, for my folks too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they knew when Ari was here with his whole family and I was home, I didn't go out and all that with my girlfriends.
Yeah.
I just didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew that they didn't want me like that either, you know, I guess. But anyway, and they liked Ari and his
Yeah.
whole family. You know, I
Yeah.
didn't go to strangers.
No.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they knew Ari real well. And my brother played soccer with him for I don't know how long. So he was real young when he went into the best team then with my brother. So they kind of knew him.
So after your dad said yes and gave permission, did he go right back to America? And how'd that all work out?
He went, he asked the army if he could, you know, go back to the United States and go in the army in the United States. And at that time they said yes.
Yeah.
So he was done. He was in only 2 weeks. Well then, let me think a minute. So then when he came home, then he told me that he was not going to stay in the Netherlands. And Rie and Piet had a date set already for their wedding, November the 22nd of 52.
52.
Yeah.
Wow.
And no, 51. Because we came in 52. And so anyway, then we right away set our day too. And we got married December the 13th. because my dad and mother would let me go, but not if I was not married.
No, you had to be married first.
Yeah, so anyway, they got married in November, and Arie and I got married in December, and they went back to the Netherlands on the 30th of December, 51.
Wow.
And they went on a boat that was half freight and
Yeah.
half passenger. They had terrible weather.
I remember you telling me about that, yes. And didn't you check in the newspaper and
Every night,
They
that
give you
was in the
updates?
paper, every night. Yeah, so you could follow exactly where they were at.
Wow.
At that time, there were no telephone. Some people had telephone, business people, but for the rest, But it took them a long time. They were almost on that water for almost 2 weeks.
When you went, because you took like a freighter too, right? Or was
No.
it passenger ship?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get sick from the motion? Did you get motion sickness?
Well, the minute that Pop-Up and Uncle Piet Sturris left to go to the Netherlands, to the United States then on the boat, in January, right away, we went to and that is in Rotterdam, in the big city where you had to go.
That's a
And
port city, right?
That's a port city, but that is where it went. That is where you had to go for immigration.
Mm-hmm.
The office for immigration was there, so that's where we went. You had to go by bus because it was too far on the bike, and it was right on the harbor. It was beautiful, but we went back there at least 2-3 times. You got shots at that time. Now everybody's having a big mouth about it, with the shots, with the COVID.
Yeah, I know.
We didn't have anything to say about it.
No, you had to do it.
You had to do it.
And you didn't complain about it.
No. So anyway, and then they make all your papers ready and all that, and we started already in January, and our papers were done at the beginning of March.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to go through Ellis Island because...
No, because Dad and Uncle Piet were waiting for us in Hoboken.
Yeah,
Yeah, but people that did not have a place to go went to Ellis
they
Island.
had to go through it, yeah. Did
Yeah.
you see like the Statue of Liberty and everything though when you
it's
came
so
in?
pretty when you come in the harbor.
I can only imagine.
They have those boats.
Yeah,
And I don't know if it is for fire or what, but they have those boats and they spout water on
Yeah.
all sides.
yeah.
And they were in front of our ship, and that is how we went in the harbor.
No
Yeah,
kidding.
Yeah, and they're coming from a small village.
Yeah, you probably never saw anything like
It's
that, the big old
yeah,
buildings.
it's really beautiful.
Did you stay in New York at all, or did you,
No, we went right the same day we went on the train yet.
yeah,
And we came by train
to Grand
to
Rapids?
Grand Rapids.
How long of a trip was that?
I think it was 17 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you you went from the Netherlands, like before that, before you came to America, had you ever left the Netherlands?
No.
No, you,
Well, to Belgium, but that's
Belgium.
next door.
yeah. So you go from
no.
that to America and going through
Yeah.
the train, you probably saw a lot of the countryside and stuff, huh?
And then we were on the boat, and there was a guy walking there, didn't speak Dutch. And I said to Dad, look at the farmers on the boat.
Uh-huh.
They had those bib overalls on,
Yeah.
And he started to laugh. He said, no, they are not farmers. That is what they were in the United States. Yeah. But then we were in New York because from the boat we had to take the underground train
Yeah,
to go to the train station.
yeah.
And Dad says, no, when you see a colored man or a lady, don't talk Dutch. Don't say anything about them in Dutch because a lot of colored people can talk Dutch.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is
Never-
that? I didn't know that. A lot of them could speak Dutch. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you nervous? What were your feelings when you first came to America? Were you nervous? Were you
No.
excited?
I was happy,
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I was not nervous, not excited. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I was excited to see where you land,
Yeah.
where you end up. And then, you go through all those towns, say, Troy, and you see those wooden homes. Well, in the Netherlands, you don't see wooden homes.
no?
No. Most homes are made from brick.
Brick.
And then the roofs are those orange tiles.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really pretty,
yeah.
It's a pretty country, the Netherlands.
Oh, I'd love to go and see it.
And then flowers all over.
Tulips?
Any kind of flower.
Any kind of flowers?
Yeah, it's pretty. It's really a pretty country.
I gotta go there someday. That's
Yeah.
my goal.
Yeah.
See where the family
En
comes
die
from.
Tine wants to go so bad too.
Really?
En ook Gerrit don't want to go.
Are you planning on going anytime soon, or
No, Andy, I can't go now.
no? Still because of COVID? Yeah.
Our minister's wife, our minister's folks came from the Netherlands. 4 weeks ago they came because they wanted to see the 3 grandkids so bad.
Yeah.
Well, you could not fly to the United States, but they flew to Canada.
Uh-huh.
And then over Canada, they came to the United States. But they had to be for 2 weeks in quarantine
No kidding.
in Canada before they came here.
They're still
So
doing
they were only 1 week here.
Wow.
And then they had to go back again to the Netherlands.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know COVID's messed a lot of stuff up for a lot of people.
Oh,
It's crazy how people are reacting to the vaccine.
if there
and
was no
everything.
COVID, I would have been back already.
Yeah. So is it your goal to go back there when COVID is
Yeah.
kind of hopefully soon? I mean.
And I was going to go. We were going to go. Agnes and Marcella and we were going to go.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that didn't materialize either.
Yeah. That's a shame. That's too bad.
And I could not, they were going to go with me because I couldn't do it alone at that time, you know. Now I can do it.
Sure.
I would just go in a wheelchair and you don't have to do nothing. They take you all over.
Do they?
They really take care of you.
Well, that's good. Did you get your booster shot? Because I know.
I did.
Did you? I got both my vaccines, but I didn't, or both my shots, but I haven't gotten a booster shot yet. I don't know if I need to.
Is it 6 months after your,
I don't know for sure, to be honest
well,
with you.
so you could.
Oh, is it? Well, let me see. I'll look at it.
Well, I have a couple and she just called me this morning. She lives here in the condos.
Mm-hmm.
And she did not want to have nothing to do with the shots, you know.
Mm.
Now her and her husband both came down with COVID.
It's happening to a lot of people that are anti-vaccine.
She says, oh, Letta, I was so miserable, couldn't move, and cough, and cough. I said, I can still hear it on you.
Jeez. That'd be terrible to get
But I
COVID.
didn't ask, are you going to have the shots now?
I know.
It's up to them.
I know, yeah. And so many people are so weird about it.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
But it's weird because when you go to school or stuff like that, you have to get shots. I don't know why people are making such a big deal out of the COVID one, but they are. They think it's their
They are.
personal freedom to
Yeah.
deny it. So,
Yeah, well, we didn't have anything to say about that.
yeah.
No, that's not right. They make rules like that, you gotta follow it.
Yeah. You wanted me to remind you about the pork.
Yeah, that is a good thing, Troy.
Yes.
Oh, I gotta do lunch for us, Troy.
What's that?
I have to do lunch for you, Leela.
Yeah. You said you're going out to dinner tonight?
In church,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And I have choir practice after that.
What time is that at?
Choir practice is 7 o'clock. I just started going again.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it. Hey Troy, I'm gonna do a baked potato with this and broccoli or cauliflower.
Okay.
I have a salad.
That sounds good.
But do you rather have broccoli or
Yeah.
It's frozen broccoli. Huh?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
When you guys came to, when you got here to Grand Rapids after your train ride in, did Papa Ari already have a house set up, or did you guys stay with somebody?
We all stayed with Grandpa Sturris.
Oh, you stayed. How long did you guys stay there before you got your own place?
And Thierry and Uncle Pete stayed there. I think only 8 months
8 months.
because Aunt Thierry was pregnant. And yeah, 8 months they stayed, but we stayed a little bit longer. And then we rented an apartment on Courtney
Okay.
upstairs. And we were there 6 months, and then Dad got a call that he had to go in the army here.
Oh, that's right.
And we bought all stuff, you know, for a lot of new furniture, some that was used. Packed everything up, put it in the attic by Grandma Sturris, and I went back to Grandpa Sturris again.
While he was in the army, huh?
I lived with them.
Hi, Ozzy.
Hiya, baby. Hiya, baby. Hi, sweetie pie. How's it? Hmm?
She's like, who is this person?
How's Ollie's girl? Want to sit on me?
Hi. Oh, you're a pretty kid.
Now you smell first, eh, Troy?
Yep. You're a pretty kitty. Can I pet you? No?
Come in here. Come in on me. Ozzy. Come on.
They do their own thing, don't they?
Oh. Ozzy. Come on me. Come. Come on.
Suspicious. Pretty cat.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll just chill over here for the time being.
Yeah. It's company, Troy.
Yeah.
It's company.
They're fun animals. I love cats.
I know it, but you know, he bit me a while back.
Really? Playful or actual hard?
Now he likes to sit by me like this. Then his head go here, you know, and then he looks up and she goes, licks me here on my chin. And so then she's done, and then she lays here next to me. Well, and I went like this with my hand, and I had this hand laying here. So I went like this, so I scared her,
Oh.
and she bit me here.
Oh.
Well, now it is gone. Well, but you still can see it a little bit.
Yeah, I think I can. Were you bleeding?
At night, yeah. Well, my skin is so thin.
Sure.
Well, anyway, that was in the morning, probably 11 o'clock or so. And at night, at midnight, it was like,
Oh, you got a big old bump. Oh, no.
unbelievable. So
Yeah, we're talking about you.
that was going back to the doctor again. So then they put me on antibiotic pills.
Yeah,
And then Marcella says to me, Mother, you cannot do that with a cat.
No, they're jumpy sometimes.
And Marcella says to me, a dog is a dog. You can play with him whenever you want to. A cat is a cat, only plays when she wants
Yeah.
to. Oh, I don't
They
like
call the
that.
shots, those
They
kitties.
don't. I don't know. It's Agnes. So I'm a little bit careful now.
Yeah. At least she wasn't being malicious or anything. She was just a little scared, it sounds
I
like.
scared her.
Yeah.
Moet kijken.
Oh,
And Stella said that.
isn't that cute?
He's waiting for his buddy, for Dave.
He got his little toy.
That dog won't leave Dave alone.
How old is that dog?
He's 8. They're 8
I'm
already.
trying to think what that is in dog years. That's like probably 50 something.
7 years, eh?
Yeah.
56.
56, yeah.
Yeah,
You should get yourself a dog.
I can't.
No,
Oh,
that wouldn't
I
be fair
would-
to Ozzy.
No, I know it, but you cannot walk here in the winter.
No.
Oh, it's gets slippery here.
Yeah. No, we got our
No.
hands full with my beagles.
Yeah, no, I don't do that. You gotta take them out.
Yep.
And
It's not fun in the winter time.
no,
I'm happy you got a cat. I think that's just great for you.
oh, it's so much company now.
Yeah.
But if I now go to Agnes for 2 days, sometimes I stay 2 nights
Uh-huh.
or 1, you know. But if I come home, I don't do a thing at night.
No, just take it easy.
I step in the house and I put my bag there, and she starts meow, meow, until I finally sit down and she can sit on my lap.
Yup. Needs attention.
Yeah, they really do, don't
Yeah.
they?
I love them. I love kitties.
I grew up with a cat.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was it a family cat?
A black one, and she had one little white dot here. We called her Moortje.
Morcha? What's that? Does that have a meaning or anything? Or?
Yeah, Moortje is, it's Moortje. It's black. And if, how can I say that? If somebody is really dirty or so, then sometimes they say, what a moord, you know.
Yeah, like covered in dirt.
So black is, Moortje really means black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But she was an outside cat, and she never comes outside.
No. How long did you have Morcha for?
Years.
Yeah.
Years.
Was the cat alive during the war or during that time?
That, maybe at the beginning of the war, but not at the end.
No.
No. My dad had chicken then, until the Germans came.
They came
were
and they
gone.
took it, yeah.
And they had 2 rabbits. They were gone, but the Germans came.
Yeah, they came and took everything, huh?
Well, we ate them ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Yeah, otherwise they were going to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took whatever I tell you, Troy.
I can't even imagine what that would have been like.
No, I know it. Your own stuff.
Do you remember the day that they left? Like, what was that like?
They marched right out the way they came in.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Really? Had they already been defeated? Was the war over? Or
Yeah.
What was their attitude like?
Everybody came outside. They left a couple days before that. But May 5, everybody came outside with the Dutch flag, you know.
Uh-huh.
And everybody was saying, peace, peace, it's peace. Yeah. I remember that yet. Oh, everybody was so happy.
I bet. Then did the Americans come in?
And Canadians.
Canadians
too. Canadians too.
I don't think the Canadians get enough credit for their role in the
No,
war.
because I tell you, I remember more Canadians where we were at than the Americans.
No kidding. Was there just more of them, or?
Yeah, in the area we were at, there were a lot of Canadians.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they get enough credit for what they did, because they made a lot of sacrifices too.
Oh,
They were out there
but-
on D-Day and everything.
Yeah.
And that's just such a fascinating piece of history, you know,
It is,
at
yeah.
that time. But it's sad because I think more people nowadays just see it as like, you know, something from a history book. They don't
Yeah.
actually think of
They
how real it
don't.
was.
They don't think about it. That there are people alive yet that were in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was somebody on TV this week. He was over 100 years old, and he flew airplanes in the Second World War.
Really? Wow.
And I don't know if he was 110 or what, but he was over 100.
I'm trying to think how old he would have been during the war then, because that was like 80 years, right? 80 years ago, something like that.
Well, yeah, it was from 1940 to
Yeah.
45.
80 years. So he would have been in his 20s.
Yeah, well,
Flying
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a teenager yet, because there is a cemetery in the northern part of the Netherlands where a lot of soldiers are buried. And when Aunt Aggie and Uncle Mike were in the Netherlands a few years back, we went out there. We drove all over, and then we came to that cemetery. Well, I had been there when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But that cemetery, one part they are all from 17, 18, 19, 20 years old.
Just kids.
Yeah, just kids.
Were these Dutch soldiers or just a mixture of all?
Most of them are Dutch, yeah.
Yeah. Did you know anybody personally that got killed in the war?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. People from your town, or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We had a family in our little village, and went to school with us, but then we know the whole family. And, the last 2 years, there was not much food left at all anymore.
Yeah.
And he had a little boat, a little fishing boat.
Yeah.
And he crossed the water from one town to the next town, because that's where farmers were, and he could get potatoes there. And he did it in the dark in the evening, and when he came back, and he was on his way back, he had the potatoes, and they killed him right in the boat.
Oh my gosh. That's terrible.
Yeah, I never forget that. That you never.
Yeah,
I
such
can
a,
see the man in front of me yet. Kroos was his name. Kroos. Yeah.
just killed like that, just
Oh,
taken
yeah.
away.
And Corey Baker, you know, do you know Corey Baker?
It sounds very
Yeah,
familiar.
well, that used to be my girlfriend, but she passed along.
I remember her, yes.
Yeah, she passed away 27 years ago. But her dad got picked up, and her dad was taken to the northern part of the Netherlands, and not her dad. A lot of guys were picked up. Well, her dad was one of them, and they took him to the northern part of the Netherlands, and they had a dig trenches with shovels.
Yeah,
Just that the big tanks from the Germans couldn't go straight, you know, that
Yeah.
they would go like this. And when he was working in that trench, the whole thing fell in, and he got choked, and he
oh
got killed.
man, he suffocated. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
And I remember when I became friends with her here then. She says, oh, we had it so poor because we had 4 kids and my mother, and there was no incoming because they were all young yet, you know. And she says, I tell you, I had to steal at that time sometimes. She said to get some food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet a lot of people did, huh?
Yeah, we didn't have that because my dad, and my brother, they, if they had fields with potatoes or so, and then when the machine went over it, they all got dug up by machine, you know.
Yeah.
Then they could sometimes, they let people walk behind that, and then the potatoes that were laying on the
They
top,
were able to get.
you know, yeah. And my dad had a little garden himself, yeah.
Man, oh man.
But I think it's a horrible time for parents
Yeah.
that you cannot feed your kids, you
Yeah.
know.
That must be so terrible
Yeah.
just to feel so powerless, huh?
Yeah. And every Sunday, my dad would go to some kind of a farmer, and he would buy fresh eggs, and not too many. But at that time they were expensive. But he did that, and every Sunday morning we got an egg. Oh, that tasted so good, and that's why I think I still love eggs.
Sure. Yeah, it's a nice little treat, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think you realize how good those things are when you're deprived of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
How long did it take after the Germans left and the war was over for your town to get back to normal? Did it ever get back to normal, or?
And that took a long time.
I bet it did.
Years.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people immigrated
Mm-hmm.
in the late, because the war was over in 45, and a lot of people around 49, 50, 51, 52 immigrated
Yeah.
to Canada and to the United States because they said there is no future.
Sure.
There is just no future. And people in the Netherlands say all our best workers went away.
Probably. Yeah. It
They
probably felt. I can understand why they probably felt there wasn't a future at that point. huh?
No, well, Artie's dad, he had a small farm for vegetables and all that under glass, huh?
Uh-huh.
And Dad, Papa worked with his father, and Pete was in an office, and Bill was, I don't even know what Bill did. His helped his dad too, but the other ones, he had still 3 boys coming up yet, and at that time there was no future. So
Yeah.
homes, if you got married, my brother and his wife and the baby lived with us. And our house was really not big enough for that, but that's what you did. There was
Yeah.
nothing else. And so they just left. They just, they went for the better future.
Mm-hmm.
Eh?
Is that probably why? Was that why Papa Ari and Uncle Pete left? Was looking for better opportunities
Yeah,
here.
because Papa didn't have enough work and the business he had
Yeah.
for all the boys.
Yeah.
No, that's why. And then he had brothers here, eh? He had half brothers here, eh? Papa Sturris.
After the army, what did Papa Ari do for a living? Like, did he get right into he worked at a cemetery for a while, didn't he?
Yeah, but that was from his uncle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Papa used to work in an auto factory by McInerney.
Where at?
McInerney Spring and Wire.
Okay.
On what street is that on? Welty, I think.
That's not still there, is it?
It's still, the building is still there.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, and when he came back, he could come right away back there. They had to take him all back then, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He worked there for quite a few years until his uncle didn't work in the factory anymore. He was getting too old. So his cousins, Papa's cousins, took over the business, and they had been after him, come and work for us, and finally, close to his retirement, he did it.
Did he?
And he loved it.
Dad, you got Dad a job there too, didn't he?
Yeah, oh, your dad worked at it.
Yep.
He used to dig graves at the
Yeah,
cemetery.
I remember him, and that's where he met Digger. And that's
Yep.
where Digger has got the nickname
That's
from.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I still remember being at your guys' old house and him coming home, Papa Ari coming home in his uniform and having the big old thermostat.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I still remember that because we'd be outside waiting for him.
Yeah, he always was home at 3:15.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And then we had tea on the
That's
deck.
right. Yep.
Yeah, always, yeah.
Great memories.
Yeah, that is, we always did that. I still do.
Yeah.
I still, hey, Troy, I gotta fix lunch for you, man. I still do tea in the afternoon with a piece of chocolate. I just like it.
Good way to relax.
Yeah.